Welcome to this live session about alignment and actually creating the life of your desires. If you can let me know in the chat whether you can hear me, whether you can see me, that would be absolutely awesome. I'm joining you here from beautiful Costa Rica today. First live transmission from here. Anders says hello, so I hope you can hear me, guys. I want to talk about something very important today, which is about alignment, because I see a lot of ways in which really good driven people, coaches, light workers, starseeds are being knocked out of alignment and struggling to actually step into their soul's true mission. So this subject today is a result of the individual sessions I hold, and also the different trends that I can see within the collective. So I see a lot of influences. I see a lot of things where certain old patterns and three-dimensional paradigms are falling away. And this is what I want to talk about today, is how do you find your soul's mission? How do you find your soul's purpose? And how you actually move into alignment? Because there's a very good reason for it. You see, I see a lot of people hyping about manifesting. This is just such a trendy thing. Manifest the life of your dreams, manifest your desires, manifest your dream partner, your dream house, your dream business. And everybody's hung up on manifesting and creating vision boards and visualizing and repeating affirmations. Yet, somehow, not everybody manifests what they want. And there's a very good reason why this is not happening. Because you see, when you're manifesting, you're trying your bring your dreams to life, manifestation is not done on a thought level. And we think it is. We seem to think that we are doing manifesting the life of our desires on a level of thoughts, because sometimes maybe we've heard years ago you need to think positive. And by all means, your thoughts kind of, they have a meaning. There is a reason for them. But in fact, it's all about energy. Energy creates matter, and matter creates energy. It's all like this kind of loop. So when it comes to the manifesting, you can think positively all you want. You can try to visualize and affirm, and I am abundant, I'm healthy, and I've got my desired partner, or whatever it is, and however technique you do, is that when you do that, it's completely useless, because your energy field is sending a stronger signal than your thoughts, and your energy field might be full of collective consciousness programs, ancestral trauma, patterns that are literally like energetic interference. So when you're trying to send a signal to the universe, I want to attract this particular reality, I want to attract the life of my dreams, but your field is sending a different signal out, then there's a mismatch and nothing happens. So today I want to talk about something that is more important and more effective than manifesting, and it is moving into your soul's purpose and into your soul's alignment. Because what I witnessed in both my life, my husband's life, and many people who we serve and who we work with as clients, is that as soon as they find this place of alignment, when they find this place where they moving into their soul's purpose, and on every level, especially when it comes to business people, coaches who are expressing themselves online, if they actually do their business according to their soul's purpose and not what somebody else said, not anybody else's business model, not anybody else's imprints, this is when magic truly begins to happen. Because you're moving into the world of energy and beyond the three-dimensional constructs. So you don't have to be doing some hard sales and clever techniques, and you don't have to be using FOMO, oh, there's only 3 last places available or whatever. You don't need even a pressure of following anybody else's business model, like, creating high ticket offers, because you see all patterns are falling away. And I see this so clearly, where things just stop resonating. And I don't know, guys, if you have ever felt it on an energetic level, that things look good. So like I for example, I've got a background in marketing and online business, so I love watching marketers. And goodness me, I'll sometimes love just consuming that type of stuff and lessons, etc., webinars. But because my consciousness has moved beyond the notions of success from 3D, and you've got to have X amount of turnover, I'm a 7-figure coach and I'm an 8-figure coach, all of that starts to dissonate. So I don't know if you've ever experienced that, where you see something on a 3D level, it all looks good. People have great knowledge, great experience, but when it comes to the energy, it somehow doesn't resonate. It's almost like there's a mismatch. And sometimes it's with people, but sometimes it's also with different construct and business models. So for example, I had a client last week on an individual session, and she had this pressure to create a high ticket offer, but it was not really something that she desired. She was like defending. She said, oh, I've been told by those business mentors that in order to be successful, I've got to create a high ticket offer. And then I had another client who had this compulsion to create a lot of sessions and stack them up in a big package to, again, reach those high prices to attract the ideal clients, because she was told that. But both of them knew that actually, number one, said, I don't want to have a high ticket offer. I haven't got anything that I want to offer on that basis. I actually like novelty of working with different clients every week, and I that resonates with me more. But yet the 3D template is that you've got to create a high ticket or premium offer. The other client who was offering sessions with some quantum tools, which were really quick, and the results she was getting her clients were amazing. And she was like, my clients fall away after 2-3 sessions. Why am I leaking clients? Well, it turned out to be the case that what she was doing was very powerful. So she didn't need 10 sessions. Yet there is this 3D construct that we need tons of sessions if we're coaches, because that's the given thing. And how does that tie into the soul's purpose? Well, when you are in tune with your soul's purpose, when you move into your soul's mission, all these concepts, all these constructs, all of these notions of what you should do, what it should be, they are less important, because you're then not looking and not comparing yourself in different things. Is kind of like it just kind of doesn't resonate, because you create with your soul. So every offer you create, every way you express yourself, it comes from the soul. So I'm just reading comments here on from Facebook and from YouTube. Renee says, I cannot even participate in the training anymore. Yeah, I'm the same, because sometimes I know people's knowledge is great, but if it's kind of, all based on NLP or some kind of manipulation tactics, it's just like, or bragging, that's another thing, it just stops resonating. Yeah, telling it 3D to 5D, how it must be. I'm not sure if I'm reading it right. Yeah. Renee says, I have to support my LinkedIn connections, yet I cannot do it anymore. Well, that's the challenge, is to find a way where you express yourself from your soul, and in a way that's 100% aligned, in a way that sits right with you. When we talk about alignment and soul's purpose, we can just say, It's what actually sits right with you. That's as simple as that. So, what is alignment to your soul's purpose? Is what sits right with you. And we sometimes blow up the soul's mission and soul's purpose into something like massive. How do we find it out? It has to be something big. But alignment and soul purpose, it happens on every level. It can happen in big shifts. So, for example, when you're choosing your career path and you're choosing something that really, really resonates, but then also when you're actually choosing, let's say you're running a business, because I work with a lot of business people, so I'm using this kind of examples. You're running a business, you've got within the business, you've got lots of decisions. So maybe it would make sense to create this kind of offer because some textbook says that, or because that's how it's meant to be. But in fact, you feel like that doesn't resonate. That's your soul's alignment. So before I answer a question, which is great, how do you figure out your soul's alignment, which someone's asked, thank you so much for this question. It's an amazing question. I'm getting to it. Let's just talk about what actually happens when you move into your soul's mission, because it is so beautiful and it is so attractive that all the law of attraction, that kind of doesn't even compare to it. Because sometimes law of attraction is like, you're sitting there in unhappy relationship, in a place where you don't want to live, and you're like, oh, I'm manifesting $1 million and I'm manifesting my ideal partner, and it somehow kind of doesn't work this way. Whereas what happens, and it's like, it's this push, it's this energy of frustration sometimes being put into it. When your biggest purpose is being true to your soul's mission, to what actually rocks your boat, to what sits right with you, then everything else really happens without effort. And I'll give you an example. I've witnessed it time and time again when clients come to my husband, not because he's, for example, marketing himself in a clever way or directly advertising his services, but they come to him, they said, oh, my guide sent me. My spiritual guide said, you need to come to this guy. And I've had that as well. And this is this kind of thing where, okay, I'm not doing anything particular in the physical reality, yet it manifests. It's without effort, and things are moving along. Right people come at right times. You get the right place to live, the right opportunities. That's what happens when you move into your soul's mission. So how do you find your soul's mission? Well, my way of doing it is slightly different than maybe other people's. So I give you an example. My husband works with people individually as an Akashic reader. He's more than a reader because he's an energy worker as well, but he often just goes to people's Akashic records and finds what's in the soul's mission, what was in the soul contract when they came here. That's his way of doing things. When I work with clients, it's slightly different. So rather than me telling them, okay, this is your soul's mission because that's what your soul contract said, we are doing it in a way where we're stripping back all the layers. And this is perhaps a little bit slower, but it's very effective in a way where people tune in to the awareness of themselves, to find the soul's mission. And basically, when people come to me, I'm known as the activator, the Starseed Activator. So people think that I'm going to activate them. And yes, I do that. I activate people's light languages. I activate people's spiritual abilities. When people come to me, all of a sudden their psychic gifts are stronger. So all of that happens. But I'm as much of a deactivator as I'm the activator. So basically, how do you activate your soul's mission? Well, you actually deactivate everything that's in the way. So what is it that you're activating? Well, what can mess with your alignment? There's many things that can mess with your alignment. And first of all, is other people's idea or what alignment is. And I give you an example from my own life. Now I know what I want. And I'm not a very flashy person. I don't like especially like many items and possessions. This is completely not what rocks my boat. But for years and years, I was in property investment industry, which was all about the external. And I remember giving an interview for some podcast to a Polish like podcaster, and realizing, goodness me, why am I even doing this? Like, I don't want to have a big house and a boat and Ferrari and what all these people are aspiring. So why am I putting myself at the risk, leverage, employees, and all of that? But at that stage, it was too late. So I had all of that self-created monster, a business that was totally out of alignment, big turnover, but also massive debts, massive responsibilities. And where did it stem from? It stemmed from other people's idea of what success is. So this is what can mess with your alignment. So you're starting to manifest something that you actually don't desire. You're starting to attract what isn't really in your alignment. And it feels like wading through the trickle. And I don't know if any of you had this experience. If you did, just let me know, because I've had it before my spiritual awakening. It was exactly like that. It was like pulling teeth. Everything, deals were not coming correct. I was having employees who stole from me, wrong business partners. Literally in my life before my spiritual awakening, everything that could have gone wrong have gone wrong. You name it. I've been through it. But on the other hand side, learning what alignment is not really helped me to recognize how beautiful and how easy things are when you're living in your groove. So if you look backwards at my life, even 1 year ago, here I am. I've got this amazing gift for light languages. And yeah, I channel all these galactic light beings and I can tune into any energy. And I'm really not stepping into this alignment because, I'm still fighting with it. And what it was is like, I still have a business in Poland and I'm still running, maybe that was more than a year ago, but yeah, I'm still running a business. I've got an audience, I've got lots of followers, I'm doing those webinars, and what am I supposed to like ditch it all? And what is it my purpose? I'm speaking those freaky languages, and what am I going to do with it? So I was fighting with it until it totally felt out of alignment. It fell apart. I decided to leave the business and I decided to move into alignment. And I still didn't see the path because it was still like weird. Oh my God, how do you activate your soul's mission? What do I do? Like, and you know what? It all becomes clear. So when people ask, what is my soul's purpose? What is how to find my soul's mission? Sometimes it's also trial and error. It's not going to be like, oh my God, you're going to get this big revelation, and all of a sudden, ta-da! You are here to save humanity or whatever. No, you're not. You're here to do what you're best at doing, and you're here to do what brings you joy. And these are the simplest indicators of what people's kind of soul's purpose is. So I also want to talk about something about purging the collective imprints to move into abundance and alignment, because there are so many ideas. There's so many ideas of notions of success, and I gave you a very striking example from property industry where it's all about material, but spiritual industry and coaching industry, which is moving from personal to spiritual development very fast, can also be full of these collective imprints. For example, that notion that in order to be successful, you need to have X amount of figures. Even the fact that people talk about it means that it is a construct. 6 figures, 7 figures. What do these figures mean to you, actually? What does it translate? Is it the figures you desire? Is it like an ego stroke? My turnover is bigger than yours? Or do they represent something? Because when they represent something actually meaningful, let's say I want 7 figures because I want this house, but this house was always my dream. And actually your dream, not because you've seen some influencer in a similar house, but because it actually lights you up. Or I don't know, you want big turnover because you want to buy land. And when you just sit back and ask yourself, well, where do I actually want to be? What is my dream life? If nobody was watching, if nobody was judging, if nobody had any idea, what would it be? This is when you find your true soul's purpose. And then what has to happen is, in order to activate your soul's purpose, you have to deactivate tons. And collective imprints are one of the things that we are deactivating. In my individual sessions, sometimes they are religious imprints, sometimes they are imprints from the industry that people are in, sometimes even from mentors that they had. Because what happens very often, people copy their mentors' mentality and mindset. And this can happen because we admire someone, we put them on a pedestal, so we want to be like them. And that's one of the biggest enemies to our soul's purpose, because you know what? Your soul's purpose is absolutely unique to you. There's nobody else with the same skill set, with the same abilities as you. And I've seen it and witnessed it because we run this membership program, me and my husband together, where every week we connect to different galactic beings. It's called the Quantum Club. And in the Quantum Club, a few months ago, we had a series where Aaron was doing starseed readings. So I've witnessed all these starseed readings, and people's soul's missions were very specific, very, very, very specific. So it wasn't like, I'm here to heal humanity. It was like, for example, you are here to educate children in consciousness, or you were doing some specific job in your star planet and you came to share this with humanity in this point in time. But it doesn't even have to be digging into the Akashic, although of course that helps tons. But sometimes it's also actually asking yourself, is this actually mine? Is this my idea, or is this someone else's idea? And the problem is that when we want to be like someone else, we can miss the uniqueness and actual skill set that we've got. And again, I'll give you an example from a recent session. I had a client who has this incredible ability to solve problems. When other people run from the problem, she runs towards the problem, and she wants to turn around, rescue, and it displayed in business experience. Yet, when she has come through her spiritual awakening, she was more into, like, becoming an inspirer to others, and like all these other influences, which is fine to a degree, but then it misses her absolutely amazing own ability to solve problems, which, by the way, a lot of those coaches who just did to inspire and who look nice and who've got a lifestyle, they don't always have that. She's got that. So if she just does what everybody else does, she will miss fulfilling her beautiful soul's mission. It's like, being, let's say, a battleship that's got ammunition, that's got all the kind of artillery and very precise navigation instruments, but you want to be a ferry, or you want to be a yacht because a yacht looks nice. But you've got everything to be a battleship. So look into those natural skills and abilities you've got, because sometimes you won't be able to even notice them. Like for me, speaking light language, which I will speak by the end of this video, it will happen because I'll be deactivating certain things from you if you guys want. But for me, my greatest gift, it comes easy. It's like, for me, isn't even special. And that's exactly what happens when you've got some special skill. And it doesn't have to be supernatural ability. It can be natural ability, such as problem solving and courage in doing it. That's when you don't even notice, because for you, this is normal. So your soul's purpose is unique and is giving you this love, this self-love and self-awareness and appreciation for your own unique mission. So you're not comparing yourself, you're not trying to be like everybody else. And if it shines through every offering you do, everything you create, every expression, that's when it really becomes amazing, and you become unstoppable. So yeah, Maxine says very succinctly explained. Okay, awesome. Alice says, I've tried out, but was no answer. Let me know what was the question, because I haven't seen the questions. Your first comment here. I'm just catching up with comments. If you guys have any thoughts, questions about your soul mission, about your purpose, about anything, let me know, and we can kind of try to kind of, you know, zoom into them and analyze and find answers. So we can do this. So yeah, my method of finding the soul's purpose is, first of all, you need to clear out everything, including the collective imprints, including the ancestral patterns. And by the way, let me say this for the record, you don't break patterns. Whatever you do, please don't break patterns. Release them gracefully, because patterns, especially ancestral ones, they were in place to keep your ancestors safe. And your own patterns were also to keep you safe. And safe doesn't always mean abundant. Safe doesn't always mean your highest good. Safe is safe. But we need to pay respect to these. So sometimes we need to disconnect all of that, but it's not something we do, you know, abruptly. We need to do it gently. We need to acknowledge what the pattern was, why it was there. And sometimes when you're in the middle of a pattern, you can't see it. From outside in, you can, but not sometimes from inside out. So one of my jobs when I'm doing individual sessions is to spot those patterns. And they don't always run in a very obvious way, because they could have been something that your grandmother, grandfather, mother, whatever, did or didn't do, or some pain or trauma that translate them itself to your business life, even though it was nothing to do with business. It could have been a lost baby or something like that, but it's very precise. So you need to start looking for those patterns, because again, like I said at the beginning, if you've got all this clutter, all this stuff running all the way in your field, so even if you're manifesting, hey, I want this and I want that, is what will kind of clash. It will be a mixed signal. It's not a clear signal sent to the universe, and you need a clear signal sent to the universe to create or co-create with the universe. I don't even like the word manifesting. I believe in creating with the universe. So guys, if you've got any questions, let me know. I'm gonna have a look through the comments, etc. Contrast is what keeps us wanting, creating more for the expansion of all. That's a great thought. Yeah, I believe that's the case. Sometimes we do have to come across contrasting experiences and difficult experiences to move, because, you know, when everything is just going so kind of like ideally and smoothly, then it's easy to become stagnant. But, you know, I think it's the degree of contrast. When you're totally out of alignment, you sometimes need a big whack from the universe, and, you know, that's when you lose health or you lose your possessions. And it happened to me. I've lost my whole investment portfolio, so I understand how it felt. But I needed that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. But sometimes it's small adjustments and small contrasts, and the more sensitive you are to your field, the easier it becomes to actually steer out of alignment and then back into alignment. Okay, so I've got a few things here. So Alice says, for the purpose of my soul, I asked my soul and nothing. Is it really nothing, or are you filtering it? Because the thing is, the voice of our soul and of our higher self can be very subtle. Do you normally connect to your soul, Alice? Or is it something that, do you ever have conversations with your soul? Because I do it all the time. But it took me a good, I would say, 8 months of very hard energetic work, releasing densities, releasing ancestral programs. It was like purge where I didn't know where I was coming and going. There was something cropping up every week, layer after layer after layer, density after density. And then I finally reconnected to my soul, and I started speaking my soul's language, channeling in the form of sound, but also started speaking to my soul, you know, like having a conversation, mind to mind. So my question is, do you speak to your soul, or do you actually have this connection closed off? Because maybe it's just a case of first connecting to your soul before you even start speaking to your soul. So you recognize your soul's voice. So you have no doubt that this is your soul speaking. And, it requires practice. It requires, like any relationship, if it can't be instrumental. Same with the relationship with your soul. If you've got, let's say, a husband or wife or brother or sister, and if you only call them or a friend when you need them, or treat them instrumentally, it's not a great relationship. And the relationship with your own higher self, with your soul, is such a beautiful, intimate relationship. So what I would say is I would first focus on the connection with your soul, and then what I would do is I would then start asking questions. But once you recognize your soul's voice, and once you stop doubting yourself, because your soul's not going to write you an email or send you a text message, this is your purpose. It's not going to be like, it sometimes comes really subtly. It sometimes feels like when your heart feels alive at some idea, and other ideas feel energetically like, that's how you recognize. Hello. I'm the guy who said that had a dream of the blue avian. Remember me? Yes, I do. Yeah, like that's a different subject today that we're talking about. If you guys interested in blue avians, we've got blue avians in the Quantum Club, my membership program. I think in 2 weeks' time we've got a channeled Q&A with them. But that's a different subject than today's conversation. Okay, so we've got some more questions I'm going to read. Rachel said, I would love to find my soul's purpose, and what you say makes a lot of sense. That's brilliant. Well, keep looking, Rachel. I'm sure that you're already, to a degree, living to your soul's purpose. It's not that, all of a sudden it's going to completely change. Like, for example, I always loved education. I always loved education. Now I'm educating people on light languages and on business. But before, I was doing something quite similar. I was also educating. So in communicating and speaking, and I love speaking. That's why I've got all these light languages. So it's not very dissimilar. It's not going to be like, let's say it doesn't have to be like that. Let's say when all of a sudden your path shifts totally, because already your natural abilities, already what you've got and what you bring, it's already there, and it's displaying in every job you've had, probably, in every position you've held. Let's say if you're a problem solver, no matter what job you've had, you would have been a problem solver. If you're very good at communicating, you would have had that in everything that you've had. It's just when you get to know your soul's history and when you see the bigger picture, it all falls into place, and then you start, that's it. That's why it makes sense. Renee, I noticed that I only wish to connect individually, my own intuition, and in my spiritual health life, coach, soul mission business. I have to release my family PTSD. That's a big thing to be releasing. And they say I have agony in my spine and neck. Is it misalignment? Not necessarily. Sometimes what happens is actually it can be many things. Physical pain is sometimes a display of a broken pattern, for example. So if your family did one thing and you did something completely different and you didn't recognize the field, then this is something that can happen as a result of that. When you break the pattern, first the matter goes crazy, and then if the field still hasn't been acknowledged, hasn't been recognized, that's when it sometimes happens as pain. What you would have to do, and this is how I would do it, or my husband when he does individual sessions, we would usually look at, okay, when did this pain happen? Did it coincide with something? When did it first occur? What happened in your life then? And then you play an energetic detective role and you trace it back. And once you've gone to the core of what it's related to, when you release it energetically, physically, pain sometimes goes away. If it is energetic, because not every time you've got pain, it is energetic. I'm more of a business coach and a Starseed Activator than I am a healer. There's people who specialize in physical ailments. However, time and time again, I've seen it when fixing energy also fixes physical health if it is related. So yeah. Okay, John says, I'm struggling with releasing all the layers of poverty and victimhood mindset about money and abundance. Not Jane, Jana. Jana, it takes time. And first of all, it's actually knowing what caused those scarcity patterns. If it is something to do with your ancestors, we need to honor them, honor the pain. It might be something to do with your past life. It might be something to do with your own mindset. So I believe that if it is something where you're trying and trying and trying on your own, then perhaps a good idea is to have another pair of eyes to look energetically into you. And if you feel called to it, come to one of my individual sessions. So they will deal with you holistically. So I know that my sessions are mostly catered for people who are business people, and for Starseeds who might not even be a business person, but who want to express themselves in an aligned way. But every session is tailored, and every session literally looks into what it is poverty, what is the victimhood mindset, what it is in your case, because everybody has different causes of, let's say, poverty mindset or scarcity mindset. It can be many different layers. It could be collective consciousness of the country you're from, or your parents, or if your grandparents migrated. Can be a number of various reasons. So it's never the same. What causes me to have scarcity mindset is not what causes you to have scarcity mindset. And that's another reason why all these mindset programs only work to a degree, because it's very individual to everyone. There is no cookie cutter. Every soul has their own energy field, and every energy field is different. Every energy field works in different ways, running different programs, running different patterns. So without actually looking into your very specific patterning, very specific causes of these situations, it's impossible for me to diagnose and activate or deactivate something. I will do an activation today in a very short time after I've answered all these questions, where I will deactivate the collective consciousness patterns from your field of highest priority that are currently stopping you from living abundantly, from living your soul's purpose. So this is something I can do for you on a group session. However, without an individual diagnosis, I can't apply the correct medicine, because correct medicine will be different for you, Jana, will be different for Renee, different for John, and every other person. So I can do what I can on a group level. However, if you want to look more in depth into your soul's alignment, soul's mission, and deactivating everything that doesn't serve you and activating what actually is to you, then I invite you to check my individual sessions. You can reach out to me after this live. I've also posted the bit.ly one-to-one Riya. So if you want to work in more depth on what we talked about today, then please come forward, and we'll look individually in what is actually stopping you from your full soul's expression and from your full soul alignment. Renee said, do you lose your memory once you're aligned? No, you don't. It doesn't work like, some kind of Jedi mind tricks. These are not the drones you're looking for, and then all of a sudden, no, you don't lose your memory. It's just when, let's say you've had some trauma, and, everybody had. If you're on this planet, you've experienced trauma. So when you've experienced trauma and you heal it, what happens is, yes, you know that this event still happened in the past, whether it was from your ancestral trauma or whether it was your own trauma. but it turns from something emotional that bothers you, that triggers you. When you integrate it, it turns into wisdom. And you look at it in a more like centered way, from a perspective. Yes, it happened. And there was nothing I could do about it. Perhaps if it happened now, I would have been able to do something about it. So no, you don't lose your memory. You shift into different planes of existence, but it's not like some magic trick moving into alignment is going to do it. Yeah, okay. Well, this is wonderful. Rachel, I was going to message you to watch, and you were here. Amazing. Catherine says, I would love to have answer for that, but what is the question? Because there's so many comments, or maybe you were referring to something I was saying before. So guys, if you've got any questions, now is the time to ask them before we go into the activation bit. So just to repeat, if you want to work with me individually, bit.ly/121 Riya. For those of you on TikTok, you just go to my bio and it's all there. So it's nice and easy. I've posted the link in the comments. I'm just wondering whether there's any other questions, but it doesn't seem to be. Susie says, I absolutely love it. Thank you, Susie. Awesome. So what? Yeah, pain turns into wisdom. Absolutely. Oh, someone says, I feel like stuck. Well, then it's time to ask yourself lots of questions if you're feeling stuck. Why are you feeling stuck? What are you feeling stuck? What is it? You know, it's, again, something we're going to need to have a good chat about. What is that's kind of keeping you stuck? Because, you know, it's always the case. When you actually get precisely into what is the problem, then a resolution isn't that difficult. So I give you an example. When we do individual energetic sessions, people think that maybe for an hour and a half, I'll be just speaking light language or activating. But the energetic bit only takes about 20 to 30 minutes. But it's actually finding out what the problem is, where there's an ancestral pattern, where there's something to do with mindset, where there's some trauma. Once you get to the bottom and unravel it all, it's like playing an energetic detective. That takes time. So, you know, when you say, I feel stuck, what is it actually? Why you feel stuck? Is it your job? Is it your partner? If it is your partner, why are you with this partner? And, you know, you can ask and ask and ask and ask, and then something will light up energetically. And then it's the time when you can actually start changing something. Awesome. Okay. I think it is the time to go into the activation, guys. So let me know if you are ready for a quick energetic activation. I'm just gonna, actually it will be a deactivation. It will be a deactivation. I call it activation, but we'll be deactivating certain things from your field. What I'll do, and I'll probably use Syrian energy for that. Yes. Okay. I'm going to use Syrian energy to disable certain collective consciousness grids. They may have come from people you admire when you're trying to copy someone else, when you're trying to copy some business model. They may have come from religious programming, conditioning. My intention for this session will be to do the actual highest priority for everyone. So for one person, it could be it could be like something to do with, I don't know, some experience that they had as a child. For some other person, might be something to do with a recent experience. But my intention will be to deactivate the highest priority programs, patterns, imprints that are stopping you from your soul's full alignment. And in whatever way that shows up for you, that will be individual. You may feel a bit tired after this activation, maybe tomorrow. You may not. But the intention is to release. So you may come across some situations that you will feel that used to trigger you, but they will know more. Something might come up for clearance, so you might be even confronted with something. So proceed at your own risk. But my intention is to deactivate the highest priority imprints, patterns, and programs to step into your soul's full mission. So whatever obstacles are in the way, I'm going to clear it. And you know what? Actually, serious for the activations, but I'm thinking of something else as well, some other energy. I'll give you some Pleiadian light as well to just flush out the system. And you know what Pleiadians will help you with as well is Pleiadians always increase your light quotient, so your capacity for your physical body to hold more light. So what will happen is your manifestation will be coming quicker because you will just be less density, more light. So I'll be working with Syrian energy, with Pleiadian energy. I'm just gonna put a banner up on here on YouTube and on Facebook, just so anybody who's joining will know exactly what's going on, especially when they hear Pleiadian, because Pleiadian is very high pitch and high frequency. So Syrian Pleiadian activation, deactivate anything that stops you from full soul alignment. There we go. Add banner. Here it is. So for anybody joining in now, this is exactly what's going to happen. So if I can just ask you to close your eyes if you want to, and you don't have to do anything. Me and my guides will do all the energetic work. All I ask is your permission. So if you don't want this activation, you can just tune out right now. If you do, then it will touch you, and it's only done with consent. So if you're up for it, just say a telepathic yes, send a telepathic yes, and then I'll start working on your field. So you just need to breathe naturally, nothing special. And now I'm going to invite the Syrians to help me disable any patterns, imprints, programs of highest priority for every individual, for every soul on this transmission and catching up with the recording that are stopping them from living in the soul's full alignment. So as I start speaking Syrian language, all these structures, all these kind of patterns will be deactivated from the energy field. Kena maraku de rese atarama ata usu e ke marakane ia, rese aturu usuma, ke maratare esa araku, e radare ina mara urakame eta u, eta u, eta u, eta u, era samakare, era me, Ea ara ina me, ina me, ina me, ina me, ina me, ina me. Kua dara era mara era me, era me, era me. Kura eda ama ara me, era me, era me, era me. Tia sukuruma are etara me, era me, era me, era me, era me. Kia turu umarasa, itarasare, itamare, itaru ura, aratea, arakamare, atarosu, iakarame, iakarame, iakarame. Tu aradakare, itasu, utarame, itarame, akarasure. Te amarasade, itaramakade, itarusumea, 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 ara, 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 ake. Ara, adera, asa, ara, ara. Okay, so let me translate because there's homework for you in this activation. So what they've done is they've deactivated certain grids, but in order to purge them, there will be coming situations in your coming weeks or days where you will get to choose different. So there might be some confrontation, there might be some situation where you're going to be facing a choice. Either choose according to the old pattern, or you can choose according to a a completely different, new, fresh pattern that comes from your soul and not from programming. So these are the calls that they send. I could feel my hands heating up as I was saying that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use the Pleiadian frequency to flush out any remnants of this coding. But in order for this whole thing to work, you will need to choose different. So next time you will be facing a situation where you would have chosen according to this pattern that doesn't serve you, you get a chance to choose different. So be vigilant, be watchful, and watch out for the situation. But right now, I'm going to transfer to you Pleiadian frequency, Pleiadian light. It's like photonic high frequency, to flush out your system from any darkness, from any remnants of what just happened, from any remnants of any programs, but also to give you a notch of light capacity, light quotient increase in your body, so your manifestations come quicker. So here comes the Pleiadian language. Shamana kusuit, shukusukutukusiu, tutushututusiu, shatapasi, tutushututushututushututushututushu, shatukusutukutukutukusiu, shanamasuit, shutukusitukushuit, shukutusitukushuit, tukusukutukusiu, shamanasiu, shutukusitutusiu, shatapasiku. Okay, done. So if you could just now send gratitude and appreciation to my Pleiadian and Syrian guys who joined us today in this activation part. Gratitude as a waveform frequency, as an emotion and feeling, rather than just like, oh, thanks. No, just send it genuinely from the heart to seal this transmission. I'm thanking them as we speak as well. Thank you so much for showing my gap like you always do. And just remember, in order to integrate this transmission, it's not about, oh, just drink plenty of water, that as well, and take rest. But there is actually homework to be done. So normally, if we work individually, we work together, I lead you through the whole process, and we have a chance to talk, and then we release. This is more of a DIY version of it. So you would start releasing stuff, but it will be done. You'll need to take charge of your own integration after this transmission. So open yourself up to new ways of thinking. And whenever you've got some confrontation with an old pattern, remember, this time you get to choose with your soul and not with your pattern. So this is what's going to happen. And yeah, that's how it works. Downloads and upgrades, absolutely. But remember, guys, the important thing with the downloads and upgrades is the integration. So this video will be available on the Architects of Destiny YouTube channel. You can go back through this activation at any point in time, but I don't recommend doing it any earlier than 1 week. You don't have to listen to the whole transmission. Just jump into about 45 minutes in. You go through this activation, but don't do it until you've purged what it is that you disconnecting from. So this will move you one step closer to alignment. But this is a process that takes time, especially when it's done on group level. So please be mindful of it and don't fry your field by, activation. You need integration as well. So that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're ready to work closer together with me, then as I said before, there's individual sessions available, bit.ly121Riya, or if you're watching on TikTok, what you can do is you can just go to my bio or just drop me a message just to find out if you have any questions that perhaps you didn't feel comfortable asking on a group chat, but you want to ask privately. Feel free to reach out. I'm sending you lots of love and wishing you the best alignment ever, that you work with your soul in partnership with your higher self on every level of your expression, be it through work, be it in relationships, and so that you live the life that your soul has designed for you, the life of your true dreams and desires. Sending you so much love. Thank you so much.